morning. I remember a time when everything was so cheap. Now prices nearly put a man to sleep. When we get our grocery bill, I feel like making my will. Tell me, how can a poor man stand such times and live? Tell me, how can a poor man stand such times and live? Well, the doctor come around here with his face all bright, and he says, in a little while you'll be all right. Well, he gives me a humbug pill, a dose of dope, and a great big bill. Tell me, how can a poor man stand such times and live? Tell me, how can a poor man stand such times and live? Well, preachers, they preach for gold and not my soul. That's what keeps us poor folks in a hole. I can hardly catch my breath, 'cause I'm taxed and schooled to death. Tell me, how can a poor man stand such times and live? Tell me, how can a poor man stand such times and live? Tell me, how can a poor man stand such times and live?
Thank you, Mike. Welcome, one and all, to Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church. My name is Chris Kynes, and my, what are they called? Pronouns, yeah. My pronouns, she and her. Today, we lift up the noble work that is performed by young and old alike. As teachers, let our classrooms be places where light and truth shine through all learning, and where we celebrate and nurture the varied gifts and abilities of each student. As students, let our minds, our talents, our character be shaped as we learn to use our gifts in the service of the world. In the workplace, may mutual respect govern our relationships, and integrity govern our contracts and finances and all our dealings as we produce useful goods and services. As caregivers of children and family, the sick and the aged, may we treat each person with respect and dignity. As scientists, writers, and artists, may your heart and your creative spirit inspire and stimulate the work of our minds and transform the professions in which we work. As those retired from all years of work, may we enjoy the gift of rest, encourage one another, and mentor the next generation. In all our daily labors, even amidst dull routines or frustrating demands, may we hear the call to serve others. Our Director of Lifespan Religious Education, Beth Curtis, will share with us our time for all ages today, and then we will have our annual blessing of the backpacks as our young ones have returned to school.
Thank you, Chris. Now, by now, most of our kiddos have already been back in school for a few weeks. Some of you are in classrooms, some of you learn at home, but either way, this is a brand new year, full of new teachers, new friends, and new subjects. But new can feel a little scary, but it also opens doors to new possibilities. That new classmate, that person could become your best friend. That new subject, it might end up being your favorite thing ever. And you know what? I'm taking a new class right now, and honestly, it's really hard. I'm not very good at it yet. Some days I feel like my brain might explode. But I keep trying because learning new things is how we grow. And so when I say I know you can handle big challenges this year, it's because I'm practicing it too. And here's something else I love. And I'm not breaking covenant here because I'm sharing a lesson learned and not a story shared. In a recent workshop, as some adults reflected on their spiritual journeys, many realized that they felt most connected with their spiritual growth when they were learning something new. When we learn, we practice the kind of work that helps our minds, our hearts, and spirits grow. Now, this summer, our congregation, led by our awesome Social Action Committee, helped pack 50 backpacks for refugee children through an organization called Beyond 90. Those kids started school this month too, carrying backpacks, some of which we filled with supplies and love. So today when we do our backpack blessing, we're blessing all the kiddos, all educators, and all lifelong learners, whether you're here at BBUUC or out in the wider world. Now, you might be wondering, why do we bless backpacks? A backpack is a symbol. For some of you, it holds pencils, books, and homework. For others, maybe you don't use a backpack. Maybe you have a special place at home where you learn. But whatever it looks like, these bags carry the tools you use for the work of learning. And they remind us that learning is a journey, not just a job. When we bless backpacks, we're really blessing you, your growing minds. So I now invite all the kids to come up and sit on the chancel steps. If you brought your backpacks, bring them up with you, or bags. And if you didn't, that's fine too. Just come up and imagine a bag in front of you, ready to be filled with blessings. I have my virtual backpack right here. I invite our congregants to open up their backpacks, real or imagined, to also receive this blessing for every learning experience that you might treasure. Awesome, we have lots of kids today. That's great. Okay, this is to you guys. To the children and youth of BBUUC, as we, your teachers, your families, and this congregation get to know you, we are continually amazed. Each of you is unique, creative, and full of amazing possibility. You show us every week that you care about others and the world around you. You are resilient, courageous, and kind. Whether We believe in you, and we know you will shine in your learning this year, whether in a classroom, at home, or anything that you do in the work of growing. And now it's the congregation's turn. Up here on the screen is our backpack blessing. And I'd like for each of you to make a little sharp heart shape with your hands in front of you. And it can be like this if your rotator cuffs are actually working, or this. This is where we hold our blessings together. And I invite you to read aloud. May you feel curiosity all of your days. May your imagination catch fire. May you find courage when it's necessary. May you feel compassion towards those around you and towards you. May you feel heard and seen. May you hear and see others. May you speak up for those who are not heard, those who are not seen. And on the count of 3, let us release our blessings in the air. These blessings will find their way magically into every backpack, real or imagined, so that each of you can carry the love of this community with you. Now, if you don't have a backpack with you, simply catch a blessing in your hands and hold it close, or even toss it to a friend nearby. You ready? 1, 2, 3. And I now invite Joaquin to come forward to light the children's chalice, which passes the flame of religious exploration from one generation to the next. And as the kiddos go back to their classes, please pick up a little care package for your backpacks from Miss Marilyn. As the children proceed back to their classes, I ask that the congregation remain seated as we sing hymn 413, Go Now in Peace.
That was lovely. The symbol of our faith is a chalice with a flame. Each Sunday, a member of our congregation lights our chalice as we hear the words that remind us of why this is important to us. And now I invite Benjamin Ochoa, as we already heard, he will be doing eye care things for the church, to light our flame as I read the words of Reverend Florence Caplow. In recognition of Labor Day, we light this flame to honor all work, including the work of our hands and our backs, in gratitude for all the labors that support our world and for those who boldly continue the work of justice, equity, and peace. Thank you, Benjamin. As our song leaders come to the front, I invite you to rise in body or spirit and join our song leaders to sing our opening hymn, number 128, For All That Is Our Lives. The words will also be on your screen.
To build
Thank you. That was a perfect song for Labor Day weekend. Good morning. Our Labor Day service is a worship team effort today that will be led by Jennifer Backmeister, Chris Kynes, and me, Donna Zimmerman. Welcome to Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church, BBUUC. We are a progressive spiritual congregation whose mission is to create and nourish a loving community that seeks justice and respect for all. Our denomination is a unique religious tradition that goes back centuries. We have no shared creed, and our members have different beliefs. What unites us is the shared values that all UU congregations have, and they can be found on the back of your order of service. It's in your hands right now. And you will see that love is at the center. We understand that there is more than one book or path or one way to spiritual truths. We actively invite intellectual and spiritual growth and nurture truth-seeking and spiritual and moral values that will shape and support us through all the stages of our lives. Our children are also encouraged to ask questions, think, and express themselves. We don't see religious beliefs as something set in stone. Our beliefs grow and evolve as we gain new awareness in this lifelong learning process. We especially welcome any first-time or returning guests today. I invite you to stop at the table at the entrance and get some information about our church and our denomination, and get a name tag so that we can start to call you by your name. After the service, there will be refreshments served at the windows in the back, and there we spend time socializing. There are also reserved chairs in the very back for people who have mobility issues. We hope everyone will find a safe, welcoming, and loving community here, and that you can imagine yourselves being a part of us. Remember, though, we cannot make a difference in the world by simply going to church and imagining how things can be better. We need to be the church and live out our values to build that different world that we seek. As I just mentioned, the UU denomination has values that guide us to be our best selves rather than a creed or dogma we all must profess to be a UU. In addition to that, members of our church came together to develop our own commitment to how we will be in relationship with others, to how we will treat each other. We say this agreement, this covenant, every Sunday to remind ourselves of these high intentions that we have. Please remain seated and join me in reciting our congregational covenant, which is printed in your order of service and also projected on the screen. We covenant to engage one another with honesty, kindness, and respect, to value diversity, seek understanding of our differences, and practice gracious accountability with care, love, and empathy. We make these promises to those who are here and those yet to come, so that we may be a safe, welcoming, and beloved community of acceptance, learning, and transformation. Now please rise in body or spirit and join in singing our call to worship. The words are printed in your order of service, and again, there they are on the screen.
I wrote this song for those often not seen and those often not heard. With these hands I've made my living, working the crops and fields to pick the fruit that it's been given. With these hands I pray, asking for the strength to carry on when my back has been aching. With these hands I feed my children, hope that I've been building strong bodies and strong minds. These hands torn and stretched, I face each day and the next, knowing they're all the same. Another field, another name. With these hands I buried my father, who worked the crops and fields like his father before him. And on my knees I get down and I pray. When tomorrow comes, my children will be free from the chains that bind them to the circle of poverty. To the chains that bind them to the circle of poverty. With these hands torn and stretched, I face each day and the next, knowing they're all the same. Another town, another name. With these hands, with these hands, I pray for the straight Lord. With these hands, I pray for the hope, Lord. With these hands, I pray for the faith, Lord. With these hands, I've made my living.
We are so blessed to have so much talent in our congregation, and thank you so much, Mike, for sharing with us. As Ted Clisby and Marilyn Jones come forward to assist with the offering, I will remind you that part of our shared responsibility to this congregation and living our values is demonstrated during this offertory when you open your hearts to engage in the spiritual practice of generosity. For almost 35 years, the support of this community has allowed Buckman Bridge Unitarian Universalist Church to be a beacon for liberal religious values in our city. Your gifts will sustain the church and our programs and the work we do that also supports our values and demonstrates to the community who we are. We are completely self-supporting, and we're grateful for your ongoing faithfulness to your pledge. Although you can choose to give through the modern ways we have, electronic debits, QR code in the order of service, link on the website, bank drafts, all that money you don't ever actually see. However, we still pass the plate because it is an active community. So even if you have already given, please take the plate and pass it to your neighbor or the row behind you and add your good energy to this tradition. At the completion of the offering, we will rise and sing hymn number 123, Spirit of Life. Please rise. Thank you. I invite you to participate this morning in our responsive reading by Amanda Udis Kessler titled We Labor in Love. There is an insert in your order of service, looks like this, and it will also be on the screen. I will read the lines marked 1, not number 1, I'm just one person. And you will read the lines marked all. All right, many. You read whichever lines you feel comfortable reading. And you can be all or many or all and many. You can be one if you want. On Labor Day, we honor our work, physical and mental, paid and unpaid, joyous and heartbreaking.
We give thanks for work's gifts, suffer its difficulties, and strive to make labor just and joyous for all.
Our work can build our society, provide for our material needs, and give our life meaning.
We labor in
Our work can damage our society and the planet, fail to sustain our material needs, and be meaningless.
We join together to create work that supports the well-being of all.
Our work can heal the world, help us understand who we are, and keep us safe.
We labor in joy.
Our work can harm the world, demean us, and expose us to danger.
We join together to create work that is safe and humane.
Our work can fill our days with accomplishments and our lives with stories.
We labor in love.
Our work can dissatisfy and alienate us. We may not be able to find enough work or any work.
We join together to create work that blesses us, all people, and the planet.
This Labor Day and all Labor Days to come.
May our work and all work serve humanity and all living beings.
In honor of Labor Day, we have 3 different reflections on the meaning of this holiday that the 3 of us, Chris, Don, and myself, will present instead of our typical sermon. So it's like sermons in bite-sized form. My offering to you is Why Do We Celebrate Labor Day? This has been compiled from information from the editors of History.com and as well as the AFL-CIO website. And as we all know, tomorrow is Labor Day in 2025. Labor Day pays tribute to the contributions and achievements of American workers and is traditionally observed on the first Monday in September, tomorrow. It was created by the labor movement in the late 19th century and became a federal holiday in 1894. Labor Day weekend also symbolizes the end of summer for many Americans and is celebrated with parties, street parades, and athletic events. Labor Day originated during one of American labor history's most dismal chapters. In the late 1800s, at the height of the Industrial Revolution in the United States, the average American worked 12-hour days and 7-day weeks in order to eke out just a basic living. Despite restrictions in some states, children as young as 5 and 6 toiled in factories, in mills and mines across the country, earning a fraction of their adult counterparts' wages. People of all ages, particularly the very poor and recent immigrants, often faced extremely unsafe working conditions with insufficient access to fresh air, sanitary facilities, and breaks. As manufacturing increasingly supplanted agriculture as the wellspring of American employment, labor unions, which had first appeared in the late, oh no, I'm missing a page. Stand by, we have multiple copies. There we go. Labor unions, which had first appeared in the late 18th century, grew more prominent and vocal. They began organizing strikes and rallies to protest poor conditions and compel employers to renegotiate hours and pay. Many of these events turned violent during this period, including the infamous Haymarket Riot of 1886, in which several Chicago policemen and workers were killed. Others gave rise to long-standing traditions. On September 5th, 1882, 10,000 workers took unpaid time off to march from City Hall to Union Square in New York City, holding the first Labor Day parade in U.S. history. The idea of a working man's holiday, celebrated on the first Monday in September, caught on in other industrial centers across the country, and many states passed legislation recognizing it. Congress, however, would not legalize the holiday until 12 years later, when a watershed moment in American labor history brought workers' rights squarely into the public's view. On May 11th, in 1894, employees of the Pullman Palace Car Company in Chicago went on strike to protest wage cuts and firing of union representatives. Later, 6 weeks later, on June 26, the American Railroad Union, led by Eugene V. Debs, called for a boycott of all Pullman Railway cars, crippling railroad traffic nationwide. To break the Pullman strike, the federal government dispatched troops to Chicago. Sound familiar? Unleashing a wave of riots that resulted in the deaths of more than a dozen workers. In the wake of this massive unrest, and in an attempt to repair ties with American workers, Congress passed an act making Labor Day a legal holiday in the District of Columbia and the Territories. Remember, it's 1894. On June 28th, President Grover Cleveland signed it into law. More than a century later, the true founder of Labor Day has yet to actually be identified. Many credit Peter J. McGuire, M-C-G-U-I-R-E, co-founder of the American Federation of Labor, while others have suggested that Matthew McGuire, M-A-G-U-I-R-E, a secretary of the Central Labor Union, first proposed the holiday. Even today, the American Federation of Labor and the Central Labor Union continue to fight for workers' rights. You know them as the AFL-CIO. And as UUs, we care about unions because workers in a union have higher wages, 11% more than what non-union workers make. They have employee-provided health insurance, 96% of union versus 69% of non. Access to paid sick days, 93% versus 75%. Retirement benefits, if you're with a private employer and a union, is 82% versus 48% for non-unionized. And if you're with a private employer, a guaranteed pension through a union happens 54% of the time versus 8% if you are not in a union. Unions improve pay and working conditions for all workers, and especially workers of color. The union advantage is even greater for people of color, women, immigrants, and any others who have confronted workplace discrimination. A union contract is a potent weapon against unequal pay and structural racism because it establishes fair and transparent systems for hiring, firing, wages, benefits, and more. Black, Latino, and women workers are paid 26%, 39%, and 24% more, respectively, when they belong to a union. Union contracts pay women and men the same for doing the same job. You cannot be fired for your sexual orientation or gender identity under a union contract. And as a union president myself, I have seen the difference a contract can provide to workers. Today, Labor Day is still celebrated in cities and towns across the United States with parades, picnics, barbecues, fireworks displays, and other public gatherings, especially over the long weekend. For many Americans, particularly children and young adults, it represents the end of summer and the start of back to school. But let us not forget the origins of the holiday, people banding together to improve life not only for themselves, but for generations to come. Chris?
Our second reflection is titled The Labor of Our Days by Jennifer Willett. What images come to mind when I say Labor Day? Chances are you're thinking of a holiday weekend and celebrations with your loved ones, perhaps remembering it's a federal holiday and honoring the unions and the causes of working wage and benefits. It's nice to recall history of the struggle of working people to have a fair share of the profits from their work. Those are all great. Now, I want you to think of your parents and caregivers, the parent that fed you, bathed you, nurtured you, and taught the building blocks of how to be in the world. Now think of your elders. Who shops for them, goes to the doctor with them, cleans them, and cares for them when they begin to fail? Now think of those who have physical and mental challenges of differing degrees. They come in all ages. Who assists them in their daily tasks that make their day and life easier and sometimes possible at all? Much of this work is unpaid labor, yet the work of homemaking, childcare, elder care, and differently abled care isn't part of our economic system. It doesn't count on our gross domestic product, but our society would collapse without it. Now consider the other non-paid labor we do to mentor, to educate, to assist, to advocate, to entertain, to enrich the community, the country, and the world. Think of all that we do for our neighbors, our friends, our community, to make life better. This is labor. A paycheck isn't the only measure of your work. Without this labor, our world would be a lonelier and more desperate place. Honor your labor. If you work for money, this holiday is for you. If you work for love, this holiday is still for you. Our work makes the world better. Enjoy your day.
Our final reflection. How we spend our days is, of course, how we spend our lives. That's a quote by the author Annie Dillard. This reflection is titled, "Your Life Could Depend on It," by Reverend Sarah Skoko. I was waiting for my chalupa in the drive-thru when I saw a sign on the back door. "Danger! Never open this door after dark. Always look before you open this door. Your life could depend on it." One of my first jobs was at Wendy's, and I remember having to watch the video about what to do in an armed robbery situation. We were taught where the escape latch was on the inside of the walk-in freezer. This inadvertently made armed robbery seem like the more attractive career path. Certainly it seemed more profitable, but had all things been equal, I'd still rather be on the outside of the freezer than in it. Nobody should die for their job, but it seemed especially crummy to be risking my life for, at that time, $6.35 an hour. It was tiring and hectic work, and it came with duties I would never have imagined before working there. Sometimes, giant tropical spiders would jump out of the crates of potatoes. Once, it was a scorpion. Whose job was it to catch the scorpion? I worked with a married couple who had immigrated from Iraq and who had 3 small children at home. In their old country, she had been a doctor. He had been an engineer. I still think of them whenever I hear the argument that if unskilled workers want to get paid more, they should get an education and find a better job. The back door at the Taco Bell reminded me once again that there is no such thing as unskilled labor, and everyone who works behind a cash register or a flat top or a fryer deserves to be paid well for the work they do. The hours and days of a human life have value beyond measure. Please hear the words of this prayer. Spirit of life, we gather on this Labor Day to honor the work that sustains and connects us to one another. We give thanks for the hands that till the soil, build the homes, and create the goods we need. We remember those whose labor is undervalued, underpaid, or unseen. May we be inspired by the legacy of those who have fought for fair wages and safe working conditions. May we work together to create a world where all work is valued and all workers are treated with dignity and respect. Guide us in our efforts to build a more just and compassionate community where all can share in the bounty of our earth. Amen. Now please rise in body or spirit and join our song leaders for the closing hymn, number 140, Hail the Glorious City. Then remain standing for the words of our closing. And now Benjamin will return to extinguish the chalice. Our time in this place has ended, but we are still connected to each other and to the larger world. While this flame is extinguished, it still lights the way in our hearts for us to appreciate what we bring to the world, to live our values, and continue to labor with love for all to make the world a better place. Amen. As you leave to return to your lives, I encourage you to remember the words you have heard today and make all your actions a labor of love. May it be so.